Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Richmond International Raceway, otherwise known as Richmond Raceway these days, for the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. I am Mark Murphy, joined tonight in the booth by American Motorsports Association driver, fellow competitor, and sometimes teammate Kendall Paul. And Kendall, you ready for some fun and exciting short track racing this evening here at Richmond?
Yeah, I'm always ready for some fun, exciting racing here at the Richmond Raceway for the Xfinity Series here as qualifying just starting up. A very fun racetrack in the Virginia area. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And so here last week in the Prospec, in the NTRL Prospec Xfinity Series, we did have a heck of a race at Kansas. Joshua Moore won that one over Caleb Sisk. Caleb did lead the most laps from Derek Welch, who sat on the pole and then was forced to take an into the longest line penalty. We had 8 cautions, and coming out of that race, Chris Goins does continue. Chris Goins did pad his points lead a little bit. Matt Sisler had a little bit of trouble, followed by Alfie Sharon Jr. in third, Zeth Hawley fourth, and Joseph Bennett rounds out your top 5 for the points. The big one, though, is the mover in sixth. Caleb Sisk in that 006 has moved into sixth in the points. Still a ways back in terms of overall point count, but he has run very strong over the last several weeks, and so Caleb Sisk looking to catch up with the points leaders. Goins did widen his points lead to 8, as you can see. Last week we had 3 challengers, all within just a few points. This week they're a little bit more spread out. 23 markers separate first place Chris Goins from Alfie Sharon Jr. in third. Zeth Hawley is 25 back in fourth. And then you've got a ways to go back to fifth and Joseph Bennett. So those are your point standings as we head into tonight's race at Richmond. Kind of the storylines that we're going to be looking at tonight. Alfie Sharon Jr., Zeth Hawley, they are neck and neck for third place. That battle for third just heating up. 2 points separate third and fourth in the points. And then the one thing that I'm going to be kind of watching too over the course of the evening is Caleb Sisk. Is he going to be able to continue his winning and or podium ways, continue to rack up those bonus points? And is Caleb Sisk going to be able to close that gap to the top? He's certainly run much better than sixth in points, and so is he going to be able to get up there? Tonight's rules. We have 50% fuel, and that's something that Kendall and I are going to be following. You get 3 sets of tires. 2 of those are in the pits, and so 165 laps tonight of racing. The tires are not going to. We're not going to have enough tires to change them whenever they want. So we're going to be keeping an eye on tires, specifically green flag stops. Who's going to make them? Who's going to save them? Green flag pit stops oftentimes do breed cautions. It is a tight pit entry here at Richmond, and so we are going to be watching out for that. And then, as always here in the NTRL, we do get one fast repair. Just kind of some track facts here for us. This track is known as both the action track, no disrespect to the Terre Haute action track, Terre Haute, Indiana, half-mile dirt. This is also known as America's premier short track. It was originally built as a half-mile dirt. It is on the site of the Richmond Fairgrounds, by the way. The Virginia Fairgrounds in Richmond, but it was originally built as a half-mile dirt in 1946. The original race was a AAA championship car race, now known as the IndyCar Series, and that was won by one of the best drivers never to win the Indianapolis 500. And that would be Ted Horn. So he was the first race winner here. The person with the most wins shouldn't surprise anybody. That would be Richard Petty with 13. As far as track records go, Jeff Gordon holds the stock car track record from the 2013 Cup race, 20.674, 130.599 miles an hour. The Xfinity track record held by Kyle Busch, set in 2004 at 20.874 seconds, 129.348. The outright track record is owned by Sam Hornish Jr. From the IndyCar Series 2005. He torched the place at 15.3197 seconds, 176.244. That gave rise to the Eddie Cheever quote, "It's like trying to fly a fighter jet in a gymnasium." And Kendall, we do expect the action tonight to be kind of fast and furious. Kendall Paul, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
No, that's
Discord cut
okay.
out. Discord cut out. Sorry.
That's okay. Do you kind of expect? I was saying we kind of expect the
All
action
right,
to be
tonight's penalties is
kind of fast and furious tonight.
Chris
Yeah, you can
Kusler,
always expect the action to be fast and
McDiddy,
furious,
Jeff
especially at a
Polly,
short track.
Joe Bennett,
Um,
Anthony Williams,
very aggressive racing can happen at the short
Nick
tracks.
D's in server drive-through.
It's going to be very interesting to see how
the,
these drivers react here to the very challenging Richmond Raceway
Carry over
here in
to
Virginia.
Chuck Iger and Chris Kwan.
You still there, Kendall?
Yeah.
I think we've lost. I think your mic's cutting in and out, and that's okay. We'll get you squared away here in just a little bit. My apologies. We did have the race audio bleeding over into our broadcast, so that was the reason we saw the quick the quick change there. As you see on the schedule, Richmond is the third to last race in the regular season. Next week we'll go to Chicagoland for 120 laps, the proper way to race in Chicago at an actual racetrack and not at a meme circuit. So good for the NTRL for going to the racetrack. That'll be same time, 10 after 8 on September 23rd, and then September 30th live from Michigan. 105 laps to decide the playoffs, and then for the playoffs, again, we'll have Charlotte, Old Atlanta, Iowa, Las Vegas, and Talladega to wrap that up. And then championship Monday, Homestead. Mark your calendars, November the 11th, 2024. Kind of circling a little bit among the qualifiers, and we'll go ahead and get the live standings up for us here. As you can see, about 3 minutes left in qualifying. Currently, Skylar Harrod on the pole with a lap of 1:16.879. Anthony Williams would claim the outside pole. Right now on the track is Caleb Sisk, and we're going to go ahead and have a look at his qualifying run. He's already third on the board, but he's coming around for a second lap. And Kendall, is the second lap usually quicker? I think Kendall Paul might be having some audio issues. Might be having some audio issues here. But Caleb Sisk does go to the pole, 1:18.388. 1:18.388. Matt Sizzler now goes out on the speedway. And he's going to clock in 1:17.551. Next serious bidder is going to be Chris Gones. He goes for a tour at 1:15.088. So Chris Gones going to slot in 11th. Dylan Bryant has taken to the track. He's going to come in 4th quick, 1:16.813. Watching Sean Roberts here.
You got me, Mark?
You know, I got you there. I was just about to say I couldn't hear you. We're kind of watching qualifying here. We've got 1:20 left right now. Caleb Sisk on the pole at 1:18.388. Alfie Sharon Jr. has just gone second quick. We're watching the Paul Walker Supra of Sean Roberts, his last lap, 1:15.870. I was just about to ask, is it the first or the second lap that's generally quicker here in your experience?
You're receiving broken again there, but I think you're asking about the second lap quicker, and I believe to do so it is the second lap that is quicker for these lap times, and Caleb Sisk, obviously that second lap time was faster, so you got to get some pressure in that tire, some heat in those tires to run that quick lap around this 3/4 of a mile racetrack. But yes, second lap is very important for these drivers during qualifying.
Absolutely. We've only got 4 cars that have not taken time. 22 have. Ryan Pasacco, Russell Endicott, Joseph Bennett, and Nick Biddy have not taken time thus far. And so just kind of waiting the last 20 seconds or so to see if anybody will venture out onto the speedway. At this point, though, it's pretty much game over. You can't get back to the start-finish line in 10 seconds. So I don't see anybody out, and I will assume that this is going to be the end of qualifying. Wouldn't you think so, Kendall? We seem to be having some audio connection issues within Discord here. And so my apologies to everybody out there watching. Kendall, you get a copy? I think he is having audio issues. Friends. And so definitely appreciate that. But we'll go ahead and get the starting grid going. On the pole, Caleb Sisk in the 006, 21.918 for Caleb Sisk. Outside pole, Alfie Sharon Jr. in the number 78, 21.974. Row 2, Dylan Bryant and Matt Sisler. In the third row, Sean Roberts to the inside, and Skylar Harrod will flank him. Starting 7th, Anthony Williams. He's going to be joined by Michael Bennett in the 4th row. In the 5th row, Thomas Welch and Justin Lawson. Starting 11th, Brandon Coleman, and to his outside, Seth Hawley in 12th. Derek Welch will be 13th. He's going to have Chris Goins to his outside in 14th. Benjamin McKinnon will start 15th from Nicholas Tucker in 16th. Paul Durkee, 17th. Jesse Redding in 18th. Mike Corvo in 19th. And Paul Ferdiani is going to round out your top 20. In 21st, Scott Miller. 22nd, Joshua Moore. 23rd, Nick Biddy. No time set by these drivers. Joseph Bennett, Ryan Pasacco, 25th, and then Russell Endicott does not appear on your grid, but he will be the final starter in 26th. And we're just kind of waiting on everybody to pull away behind the pace car. I believe there are 2 pace laps here at Richmond, and so we may get an extra one of those. You know, I got you now, Kendall, and I definitely appreciate your patience, my friend.
No.
We're going to get this going one way or another here tonight at Richmond for the Prospec Xfinity Richmond 125. We do have a full field, 26 cars. That's enough to produce some action here, wouldn't you think? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely thank you for your time. Definitely thank you for your patience. The pace car is now beginning parade lap number 2. You see the front of the field. That's Caleb Sisk on the pole, and he's got Alfie Sharon Jr. at his outside. Dylan Bryant and Matt Sisler are Dylan Bryant and that is the 3 of Skylar Harrod are in row 2, anxiously awaiting the start of this event. Kendall, can you hear us? You got a copy?
I can hear you right now, but I think the internet keeps cutting in and out or something from my side or something.
Gotcha. Well, I tell you what, we're going to keep an eye on the internet, but the pace car is off, and we are just about ready to have the green flag. Barney has the green flag in the air. The race is on, and Caleb Sisk jumps into the lead from Alfie Sharon Jr. Excellent shots there. We do want to thank Whiplash SimCams for absolutely not only their support of P1 Broadcasting, but for also giving us those amazing pictures. We're looking at Alfie Sharon Jr. He's second. He's got Dylan Bryant all over him for third, followed closely by Skylar Harrod and Sean Roberts. They are fourth and fifth. Caleb Sisk has jumped out to a 0.7 of a second lead. And I think we're going to lose Ken Dale here for just a couple of moments. He has gone to reboot iRacing, ladies and gentlemen. But we're following the battle for second. Alfie Sharon Jr. chased by Dylan Bryant, Skylar Harrod. Further back in the field, though, action all over the place. And this is where it is. That is Nicholas Tucker. He's in the 88. Brandon Coleman in the 11. Paul Durkee in the 13th. That is 11, 12, and 13. We got a car jumping sideways there. That's going to be, I believe, Mike Corvo in the 97 as he battles side by side with the 18 of Joshua Moore, and that was last week's winner. There. Already we've got some cars going a lap down. Nick Biddy, Ryan Pasacco, 1 lap down. I believe those were pit lane starts or penalties, drive-throughs, whatever the case may be. And then further back, you've got Joseph Bennett and Russell Endicott. And how fast do things change here? Those guys are already 10, 11 seconds behind the race lead, and they're battling 22nd and 23rd on the afternoon, or on the evening. Matt Sizzler trying to make his way to the front. He is currently 17th, but the battle continues to rage. It's right around Joshua Moore, Mike Corvu, Paul Durkee, Nicholas Tucker in this group that is now 11th, 12th, and 13th that we're watching. Get the drone cam on Josh Moore there. As he works to the inside of Mike Corvo down the front stretch. Hot pursuit of Paul Durkee. That would be the 14th position changing hands. Meanwhile, your leader has checked out. Caleb Sisk, 0.3 of a second ahead of second place. Alfie Sharon Jr. Dylan Bryant has settled into third. And as Kendale and I kind of alluded to here just a little bit ago, this is going to be somewhat of a tire race, and so kind of working on guys going, guys coming a little bit. Kendale, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you, Mark. I think I got it resolved. We'll see.
Yeah, no worries. So I was just saying, Caleb Sisk has jumped out to a pretty decent sized lead here. 0.75 of a second, 0.8 now is quite a bit of a lead. But you got to wonder, is he burning up those tires a little bit too much?
He could very well be burning up those Goodyear tires, but also it really helps being in the lead. Getting that fresh air on that nose of that race car makes that car turn a lot easier, a lot better. So it saves that right front a little bit more. Also, something to watch out for is that right rear tire. So how you can wear that out is if you get real loose on the exit of the corners. So I'm sure that fresh air for him is working out tremendously for him. As he just kind of keeps it. I think he's managing the gap right now, just to make sure he don't burn his stuff up too early, like you said we were talking about earlier. Limited amount of tires for these guys.
Absolutely, and let's kind of take a look inside of Caleb Sisk's 006. We're going to ride on the roll bar and just kind of tell me what you think and hear there, Kendale.
Right now, what I'm thinking, he's looking good. His line's looking real well. He enters the corner very nicely, exits very nicely. That can all contribute to saving those tires. What's really different about the Richmond Raceway that some of your lower end drivers don't understand is you got to enter the corner a little bit earlier than what you might expect around this racetrack, especially 1 and 2. It's a unique corner. 3 and 4 is more your natural corner like you're used to in short track racing. But so far, everything looking really good for the 006. But like we said, we got to keep an eye out on those tires.
You know, and something that I always found about Richmond, the two ends of the racetrack are very different. The corner almost wants to jump out and bite you. We're going to go back and watch Derek Welch He is 10th, looking at Jesse Redding for 9th there. That is the closest battle on the speedway. But I always felt like turn 2 felt like it was going to just jump out and bite me sometimes, especially in an Indy car when we come here. Of course, we're doing quite a bit higher speeds, but I always felt like it got really tight over there off of turn 2. You get that same feeling?
Oh yeah, 100% even with the stock car, because the reason is if you look off as the exit off turn number 4 is turn 4 is off of turn 4 in the straightaway, it's still just a whole left turn. It's never really gets straight, but when you get down to the back straightaway, it is a true straight back straightaway, so it doesn't have that curve like the front straightaway does. So that's something you have to watch for all night, is watch guys overcook the corner exit and hit that outside retaining wall, ultimately damaging the race car. I think they've toughened up these vehicles since the last update, so I know sometimes it would knock the car out of balance, but I think they toughened up those cars a little bit more.
Absolutely, and thank you, Richard, for telling us we sound fine. Definitely appreciate that. Albert Anderson, let's go Team All-Star. And so definitely want to thank everybody out there watching us this evening. We've already got 19 laps down, working on lap 20 of 165. Caleb Sisk is your leader, rather comfortably, 0.6 of a second, closing down a little bit from Alfie Sharon Jr. Dylan Bryan is third, Skylar Harrod fourth, Sean Roberts is fifth. The battle on the racetrack right now that we're watching, that is Derek Welch in 10th. He's got Jesse Redding to his front, and joining that parade is the High Rock Vodka Machine. That is Brandon Coleman. He is 11th, and he was all over the back of Derek Welch there for the last couple of laps. Welch had pulled up on the 21 machine of Jesse Redding, and then dropped back into the clutches of Brandon Coleman. So we're going to continue to kind of follow this battle a little bit. Meanwhile, the fastest lap has been turned by Skylar Harrod. As you'll see, the purple number, the purple position, indicates the fastest lap on the scoring pylon, and that is currently held by Skylar Harrod. Kendale, we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier in the pre-race. When do we anticipate pit stops here?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When do we expect the green flag pit stops? With 50% fuel, at least by my calculations that we're doing on pit road at least, it said you could run around 60, but once you get out on the racetrack, start burning that fuel, we were kind of talking about right around lap 50. Now the big debate for the first green flag pit stop is, do you take Goodyear Racing tires? So with the limited amount of tires, do you want to kind of save that set for the end? To have all your horses and all your chips at the end, or do you want to kind of get those fresh Goodyear tires to get up through this field, get to the front that you can save? Because what we're seeing kind of back here in the back toward 10th, 11th, 12th is there's a lot of battling going on, and the more you battle, the more you burn your tires up, and it's going to put that tire in a worse and worse condition as the run goes on. So that's going to be the million-dollar question. Do you take tires, and when does that come?
Yeah, and that's something I always think about. When you're in the car in a limited tire set race, when do you want to take them? Do you want to have them? Do you want to have them now? Do you want to have them at the end? And we got a car going wide on the back. I believe that was the 88 of Nicholas Tucker, and we're gonna see if we can't see what happened to Nicholas here coming off of turn 2. And it just kind of jumps sideways with him. He does a great job keeping the wheels straight. Just lets the car kind of slide down to the inside wall. Does not hit anything, does Nicholas Tucker. And he doesn't even really lose a spot. He maintained 14th. And so good job for Nicholas Tucker there. Meanwhile, the battle here for 8th, 9th, or for 9th, 10th, 11th, it rages on. Derek Welch has finally worked his way to the inside of Jesse Redding as we haul off into turn number 3. Working lap 28 now. The pit road here can be kind of treacherous to get onto and off of, can it not, Kendale?
Yeah, pit road can be treacherous to get onto, and especially during the green flag stops. It's not your natural transition. It kind of just jumps out at you. You kind of want to enter it off of turn number 3, mid-corner 3 and 4. You got to make sure you keep the tires below you and not let that car spin out, because that's the very thing that can happen during these green flag pit stops as the battle for the race lead might be starting to heat up here as they start catching the back half of the field.
Good call. Lap traffic is always a concern at a short track. Caleb Sisk has caught the number 9 machine. That's Thomas Welch. He's going to be the first victim here for the leaders. Not only has Sisk caught Welch, Sharon Jr. has caught Sisk. He's within a couple of tenths of a second, and that's as close as we've been here 30 laps into this race. I can't help but wonder when we get to pit stops, it's not getting on pit road that's always been a problem for me here. It's getting off of it. It is very narrow at exit, Kendall. Watching the number 006 machine of Caleb Sisk attempting to work around the number 9 Mountain Dew machine of Thomas Welch. Welch is 23rd. He kind of gets into the wall a little bit. Sisk is going to go by on the inside. He's going to be followed in close attendance by Alfie Sharon Jr. These two have worked out over a 2-second advantage over third place Dylan Bryant. And we kind of talked about tires and why you might want to save them at the end. Caleb Sisk, his best lap, 22.153. Last lap by 23.180. So 32 laps in, and they are 1 second off the pace. And Ken Dale, I would have to assume that drop-off is going to continue, is it not? I think we might be losing Kendale Paul again.
Not me now? I can hear you now again.
Okay. I was just saying, they're a second off the pace that they were doing earlier. Is that going to continue here, or do these tires do they stabilize after a certain number of laps in your experience?
With the Xfinity, it's been a while since I've ran the Xfinity car here at Richmond. That was clear back in, the spring, I want to say. Yeah, clear back in the spring with the my personal league went to the Richmond Raceway. I believe they continue to fall off, but after a while, at least in the Gen 6 cars, they tend to fall off, and then they kind of equalized out. I'm not quite 100% sure what is going to happen with the Xfinity cars, just because it's been so long since I've been last in Richmond Raceway cars.
Yeah, and that's always kind of the question. Are they going to keep falling off, or are they going to kind of stabilize? Working lap 35 traffic is getting very, very heavy now for our leaders. Sisk goes down to the bottom, and that is the 57 machine of Russell Endicott. He's going to put him a lap down. Next up on the hit parade is Anthony Williams. That's 21st. So we're already working up. Through 21st. Next is Scott Milner. He's 20th. And anytime you get into the top 20, top 15, top 10 cars, they get those are good cars, right? They get harder to pass, don't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. They're faster, and I'm not 100% sure what the rules are here, but if they are like NASCAR, then the lap cars do not have to pull over and give over the spot. They can try to fight to stay on the lead lap, and that's what you'll kind of see as you get closer and closer to the top 10. Is they're going to be willing to fight a little bit more to stay on that lead lap, just because how crucial it is to stay on the lead lap. If a late race caution or something comes out, or even a caution at this point, you'll even see him racing back there for the lucky dog's spot right behind the leaders, just to stay on the lead lap. As you can see Silk passing two more of the cars to put them one lap down.
And then if you're the leaders, how much do you worry? We saw the smoke. Paul Ferdiani in the World Poker Tour machine. He did get up very close to that outside retaining wall down the backstretch. How much do you worry about a lap car maybe, or a car that's not as fast, bouncing off the wall in front of you and really, I don't want to say taking you out of the race, but really kind of costing you position or costing you time?
It is a concern, especially off turn number 2, is if they bounce it off and you're already going to be tight on their door panel there because you're trying to get as much of an exit as you can. So there's not much room working off turn number 2. So it is a concern. But you got to have trust in that guy on the outside and hope that he can keep control of his vehicle to let you by. But yeah, it is a major concern when you are passing the lappers.
speaking of passing, we've got a battle on the speedway. That is Sean Roberts in the Paul Walker Super. He is 5th. He has been working over Skylar Harrod now for several laps as we work lap 41, 42 of 165, getting close to that first round of green flag stops already at the quarter pole here. But Sean Roberts has been all over the inside of Skylar Harrod now for quite some time, and Harrod hanging tough on that high side. It is very difficult to get by somebody on the bottom here. It's almost as if the top groove is preferred for passing. Watching Sean Roberts, he pulls right back up on the rear end of the number three Toyota there of Skylar Harrod, continuing to work. And Kendale, is if you're going to pass somebody, would you rather do it on the inside or the outside here? I think
I lost connection there for a second there again. I've heard my name, but didn't hear the question.
Yeah, so would you rather pass somebody on the inside or the outside here?
Me personally, I honestly would like to pass on the outside because I feel like you just have a little bit more control of the situation. You can kind of dictate how much room you give the guy on the inside. If you're on the inside, you're committed to running that yellow line, and that guy on the outside can pitch you down. You might even see that here later on as the run goes on, is people using that outside lane to pass people just to limit their corner exit speed to get that run on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and that's something that I did very effectively in the race spot anniversary race. Christopher Demerit, myself, for the final step on the podium, we basically went side by side like that for 25 or 30 laps, and it wound up with me on top only because I basically forced Chris to the bottom of the speedway, and you get so tight off of turn 2, Kendale, that it's you can almost force the car on the inside as we see both Harrod and Roberts bounce off the wall a little bit, but you can almost force a guy to get so tight over there off of turn 2 that really he's forced to make a choice on the bottom. He can either run into you and both of you can bounce off the wall, or you can back out of it. And you don't want to bounce off the wall, as we see Paul Ferdiani do just that. But you can kind of dictate that a little bit. It's very, very difficult to make a pass stick on the bottom here.
I'd just like to bring the attention to the leaders again. Once again, Caleb Sisk continuing to lead, but right behind him is that 78 machine. The 78 machine is being very, very patient with the 006, or the 006. He's had plenty of opportunities to pass him. It looks like he might be faster than the leader, but taking his time, being very patient, and that's one of the keys to win these races, is to be patient and to kind of dictate when to make that move. We're only lap 49 of 165 and plenty of pit stops to go. But the question is, when we get later in the run for Alfie Sharon Jr., is when do you pick up the sense of urgency, and when do you pick that up to try to pass the leader, get to that crucial fresh air and crucial point of controlling this race?
And that's a great point. And you kind of think about, when you're racing a guy like Caleb Sisk, who is, as we've seen earlier this year, very, very quick. You're sizing him up. You're thinking about where to go, and you see Alfie Sharon Jr. He's got him to the bottom now. We're watching it from the drone. He's got him on the bottom. But Sisk is going to fight back on the outside. He's going to bring the car back along. And if you cannot clear the car on the outside, it's going to get very difficult for you over here off of turn number 2. And we are approaching what we think is the pit window. We are inside of, we're outside now of 50 laps. We're working lap number 52. Alfie Sharon Jr. has gone to the lead, though, over Caleb Sisk. You saw it live here on P1 Broadcasting. Alfie Sharon Jr. to the lead. Caleb Sisk is now second. And so you would be of the opinion, and Sisk drives right back up on the rear of Alfie Sharon Jr. You would be of the opinion here that you think that Sisk is going to be able to. Well, excuse me. Now we've got pit stops. Alfie Sharon Jr. made, and they both pit. Alfie Sharon Jr. made the pass. Both cars now are going to take the pit lane. Sharon Jr., your leader. Caleb Sisk is second. Both of them on pit lane, amongst others. We've also got Derek Welch on pit road, Scott Milner, Anthony Williams, but we are going to follow the leaders. That is the story. Alfie Sharon Jr. to pit lane, and we'll watch the trackbarmedia.net number 78. Right sides go up in the air, so he is taking a set of tires here early.
All right, man, caution is out.
And caution is on the speedway.
Oh,
Caution is on the speedway, and we're going to see if we can't dope out exactly what's happened here. But that's a tough break for the two leaders. That is a tough break for the two leaders because they're going to be trapped here at least one lap down, by my count.
they may very well be one lap down as we're waiting for timing and scoring to circle around. This is a very crucial caution and right in the middle of green flag pit stop. So, I mean, you got to be very flexible with one of these races, because if you had a good old strategy book and you had your Pacific lap numbers that you are pitting on, you can throw that book out the window with this caution now already. So it's going to be very interesting to see if those leaders will cycle around. I'm guessing they will. But we'll just have to wait and see what timing and scoring circles around to.
They are going to now. We did not see anybody take their fast repair, and so a little bit unclear as to the cause of the caution. Meanwhile, Sean Roberts has brought the number 33 Paul Walker machine into pit lane, and will follow his stop, I would anticipate. And there it is, up in the air for tires. Justin Lawson also on pit lane. Matt Sizzler pulls the 93 Birdie's machine in. He's going to make his pit stop. Everybody on pit road, wholesale pit stops here at the caution, lap 57. Joshua Moore did take his fast repair, so we're going to see what may have befallen.
And I do have the caution for you. It is Joshua Moore coming off turn number 4.
All right, so let's see if we can't cue this up for our fans at home here. Still don't kind of see it. Well, let's go back.
If it helps, it's right after he takes his green flag stop.
You know, we've got it here. So there's Josh Moore.
Okay.
You know, as Kendall kind of indicated, he had just made his pit stop, cold tires for the 18. He sails it down into turn 3, gets to the apex, and around she goes at exit. Just a case of cold tires, you think there?
I think that's something to mix with it. There is when you get into the rhythm of having these warmer tires, you get into the set of where your marks are, and you got to kind of change them up a little bit with these cars sometimes with cold tires. Sometimes you got to give them a lap or two to warm up. But yeah, that's just a classic instance of coming out on the racetrack on those cold tires and just spin that vehicle.
Yeah, and so we did have a lucky dog on that exchange. That's going to be Scott Milner. He's going to be 11th. Skylar Herod, Michael Bennett, Derek Welch, Zeth Hawley, Alfie Sharon Jr., and Caleb Sisk, along with Jesse Redding and Nicholas Tucker, are all going to get the wave around here. Trapped one lap down, Russell Endicott in 20th, Anthony Williams 21st, Nick Biddy 22nd, Ryan Pasacco 23rd, Benjamin McKinnon 24th, Joshua Moore 25th, and Paul Ferdiani is shotgun on the field in 26th. But we're going to see a lot of guys get a wave around, and it's going to be a ton of fun watching Sharon and Sisk try to battle back through this field. One of the things, Kendall, that we did learn is that this race is going to be divided into 3 pretty equal stints, don't you think?
Sorry, broke again?
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, it appears as though as we go back to green flag action, Dylan Bryant leads it from Sean Roberts, and Bryant jumps into the lead in that number 8 machine, followed by Sean Roberts, Justin Lawson. Matt Sizzler with a big break for his points battle over Chris Gones. He's 4th. Brandon Coleman rounds out your top 5 as we work down the backstretch. Lap 61 of 165 complete. We're going to kind of go back in the field. We're going to watch Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk, the two guys that had dominated the early portion of this event. They are stuck just due to a bad set of circumstances. We got 4 wide, and Derek Welch goes around, and he gets in Alfie Sharon Jr. We're going to have another caution. I do not think that Alfie Sharon Jr. hit anything other than the right front of Derek Welch. They got 3 and 4 wide stacked up over here, and with Sisk and Sharon just trying to get around. Some of the guys that had been toward the back of the lead lap, and there you see it. Derek Welch, Alfie Sharon Jr. make contact. Sharon does not hit anything. Bit of an impact for Derek Welch, and we'll go back and see it one more time. Just kind of knocks off the 57, and that'll happen when you're 4 wide here. But a good hard lick for Derek Welch into the inside retaining wall. He's definitely going to want to come get his fast repair as we head back to live action, and Alfie Sharon Jr. also going to come to pit road. My guess is Alfie is going to want some fuel in that car. Meanwhile, Derek Welch is going to come in and grab his fast repair. So under caution, we're gonna just kind of follow the stop of Alfie Sharon Jr. here. Does not go up on the jack, so just fuel and away. Also, something that I learned here, Kendale, is that if you take your fast repair, it gives you a new set of tires. Were you aware of that? I did not know that until just very recently.
I heard you were talking about fast repairs in fresh tires. I did not know that.
So apparently that is the thing. If you come in and get your fast repair, it'll give you a new pair of boots. Neither Alfie Sharon Jr. nor Derek Welch, well, Derek Welch did take his fast repair, as I suspected he would. He made pretty hard contact with the inside retaining wall. But Alfie Sharon Jr. did not. Just came in 4.8 seconds. That's gas only. And back out in 17th. And so that's just a strategy ploy just to give himself another extra couple of laps just in case something similar to the first pit stop cycle happens. Somebody loses it on cold tires. You've run long, and you've got a chance to then flip the track position, correct?
I heard the last part of that. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
This board's being difficult today for some reason.
It is indeed. Never like to hear that for our viewers at home. The NTRL has been awesome for us here at P1 Broadcasting, and definitely wanted to let everybody know. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, smash subscribe. That way you'll get notified for all of our great broadcasts beginning tomorrow. Beginning later tonight. You'll have Gary Godso on the call with Luis Gonzalez Nunez for the ISRA Truck Series. That'll be following our event here at Richmond. And then tomorrow, our signature broadcast, that is the iRacing IndyCar Oval Fixed Series. That'll be live from Pocono at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch 25 of the best in the service have a crack at Pocono in an IndyCar, join us tomorrow night. I will be in that race. I don't believe Ken Dale will be joining me, as he is not an IndyCar regular, but I will be there along with Seb Alexander, my friends at the Indy Alliance Racing Team. So have a look at that if you like. But tonight we've got 67 of 165 complete. Sean Roberts and Justin Lawson are on the front row as we get ready for a restart at lap 68. Lights are out on top of the pace car. Pace car is in.
Green flag, green
Sean Roberts hits the loud pedal, and away he goes from Justin Lawson in second. Matt Sizzler, what a great run up to third place as we follow him through turn number 2 and onto the back straights. And look at him fan out, Kendale, back there. They're 3 wide. We got another caution.
Trouble off of turn number 4. Looks like one car sideways there. Don't know if he just got ran.
Yeah, that's going to be Justin Lawson, and a tough break for Justin. He was second on that last restart, and let's see what befell Justin Lawson here. Looked like he was just racing for the lead and got in there a little bit too hot.
Yeah, definitely for sure it does, and I'm wondering, like, almost looks like he tapped the backside of that orange machine of Sean Roberts, and he could have, what he could have done, and it's very easy to do, especially if you don't have your brake bias set correctly, is he could have jabbed on those brakes, and that sometimes breaks the car are very loose. So that could be a very good possibility what happened there for him. Tough break, but at least, I mean, soft contact to the water barrels there on the pit entry wall. But other than that, it doesn't look too horrible.
Yeah, and thankfully here in iRacing, we do not need the extended caution for cleanup of the water or replacement of the barrels. And so as soon as we can get the virtual barrels cleaned up, we're absolutely gonna get back to live racing. We're watching Justin Lawson bring the number 20 to pit lane. Don't see any tires going on that machine, so he could be just in fixing some damage, trying to assess whether or not he wants to grab that fast repair, or if he thinks it can be fixed, and it very well may be. We are now 71 laps into a scheduled 165 at Richmond and Kendale. We're approaching halfway.
Yeah, we're approaching halfway very quickly, and seems like most of the field has taken their first set of tires, and I believe that leaves them one more set down on the pit lane, and I'm guessing we're going to have, well, most definitely we're going to have one more pit stop, and the question is do you take that tire set there, or do you try to roll the dice and hope for a caution to save that tire set for a potential short run there, or it's going to be very interesting to see. And I'm also watching the number 78 of Alfred Sharon Jr., the previous leaders, and also Silk there as well, as they're making their way up through the field all the way up to 10th and 11th there, back there in their respective positions.
Yeah, so let's give a call down to Caleb Sisk in the 006. He's made his way back to 9th. Alfie Sharon Jr., even with the extra spin, has come back to 11th. And Skylar Herod, who still owns the fastest lap, that is the number 3 machine, he is now 8th, and he'll start directly to one row in front of and directly outside of Caleb Sisk. And so the fast guys from the beginning are all lined up 8th, 9th, and 11th. They've got Thomas Welch in 10th, and he's kind of the odd man. And it wasn't too long ago we were talking about Thomas Welch being the first car lap down. Lights are out now atop the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car. So we'll go back to green one more time around. Next time around, it'll be lap 74 of 165. Just about 8 laps until we get to halfway. Sean Roberts, your leader. Brandon Coleman, second. Matt Sizzler, third. Chris Goins has worked his way up to 4th. Quiet night for him. But as Gary likes to say, the cream rises to the top. Your points leader, Chris Goins, has very quietly made his way up to the outside of row 2, the inside of row 3. Joseph Bennett, another front runner from races past. He is now 4th. And here's your green flag. Sean Roberts leads him away. Matt Sizzler in 2nd. We're going to go on board the gyro cam for Matt Sizzler, looking at the back of Sean Roberts to give you a sense of the banking here, fans. As Sizzler works, Sizzler has Brandon Coleman working to his left. Coleman will take second, and he's had some damage to the back of that High Rock Vodka Camaro. You can kind of see it there. You can kind of see it there on the back for Brandon Coleman. No harm, no foul. Richmond is not a place with a huge amount of aerodynamic effect, and so that little dent there is not going to hurt him. Meanwhile, Caleb Sisk has made it back to 7th. He is working to the inside of Michael Bennett, and Alfie Sharon Jr. is going to try to follow.
Number 2, one car spinning and stopped on the middle of the racetrack and gets hit, and a secondary hit off turn number 2, and I'm not for sure who that was, but spinning off turn number 2, bringing out the caution flag once again.
Well, we're going to have Mike Corvo, my fault. We're going to watch the 97 machine. He's going to get into turn number 1 and just kind of gets it loose a little bit. Avoided by the 21, the 9, the 13, and as he comes back down the track, I don't think anybody gets him. There's the 57. So tough break for Russell Endicott. Almost the entire field made it through there, but when you've got a car spun and stopped in the middle of the racetrack, sometimes there's just nowhere to go. Tough break for Russell Endicott, certainly, and we'll have a look and see what Russell Endicott saw from inside his number 57 Ford Mustang. Going through turn number 1 there on the outside. You can see the car spinning. He's trying to get it down. The 97 rolls forward just a little bit, and no way to get out of the way for Russell Endicott. So he's gonna bring that machine to pit lane for certain sure. And we see him there. He's grabbed the fast repair, and Russell Endicott will rejoin the race, but he is a lap down now in 25th. So under caution, working lap 78 of 165. Sean Roberts is your leader. Brandon Coleman second. Matt Sisler rounds out the podium. Joseph Bennett is 4th, and Chris Goins maintains his position in the top 5. But don't look now, fans. Caleb Sisk has worked his way in the 006 back into 6th. And Kendall, that's a lot of 6s, but that's pretty impressive considering we've only been under green for a handful of laps since that last pit cycle.
Yeah, they're progressing through the field very, very well, and I mean, for the circumstances they were put in with that caution in the middle of the pit cycle, besides a little bit of trouble with the 78 earlier off of turn 2, sorry. After that, they've been clean and cruising through this field. I would expect them to be within the top 5 within the next 3 green flag racing laps. If they can get through traffic easy like they've been doing, they've just been cutting it through like butter. So it'll be interesting to see how fast they get up to the front, and then if they break away once they get to the front, just because they've been battling all these cars, burning those tires up a little bit to get past some of these cars, get back up to the front.
Yeah, and how about we give a call down to the number 41 of Chris Goins. Chris started in the back. He started in the back. Not a very good qualifying effort, at least by his standards. 14th. Chris Goins has worked his way up to 5th. In that number 41 Chevrolet Camaro. Good looking ride, but he's been giving it a pretty good ride. You know, he's come from 14th up to 5th. That is your points leader, and sometimes you need runs like this when you're leading the points, don't you?
Oh yeah, and it's about consistency in running in the finish order to maintain that points lead, and we saw that with even the real-life NASCAR Cup Series with Tyler Reddick taking the regular season championship. I can't remember the specific average finish, but it's within the top 10 for Tyler Reddick, and he got the points championship out of it. So it's about consistency, finishing inside the top 10. You always come into these races, and me personally, when I always come into a race, I set a goal of a top 10 at least to get maximize that points day.
Yeah, I mean, it works in iRacing just as well as it works in the real world. I think, the 2 times that I managed to win the overall championship for the IndyCar Oval Series, I think I ever only won 1 race in each of those 2 seasons, but it was all about finishing on the podium, maximizing what you could get out of any given day, even if you weren't the fastest machine. Get as much as you can as we head back to green, and Sean Roberts is going to get as much as he can. And I really love this drone shot, flying over these cars. They head down 2 by 2 into turns 1 and 2. Sean Roberts leads it. Sizzler gets to second. Brandon Coleman back to third. Here comes Chris Gones, and here comes Caleb Sisk. We're going to kind of follow the Sisk and Sharon story because they are now sixth and eighth, and both of those cars are coming to the front in a hurry. Now, Kendall, do you want to do this if you're Sisk and Sharon? Do you want to do this on the inside or do you want to do it on the outside? What's best for the longer run, inside or out, or does it matter? You just want to get through there and work the savings out later.
I only heard part of that question again. I believe you we're saying something about what lane you want to be in with these cars, and I mean honestly, I guess it's really driver dependent. If you like putting the wear on the right rear, or if you like putting the wear on the right front. I mean personally, I would want to be on the outside lane to pass some of these cars just to get better turn in. But it's all on driver preference. But honestly, when you do that, you're sacrificing your exit speed significantly. But the 78 and Sisks are cutting through this field tremendously. And like I said, it's going to be very interesting once you get to the front if they break away or if it's just going to kind of equal out once you get towards the front.
You know, and that's a very fair point. And what's going to happen when the tires wear out? We would think that we're probably at least 30 laps away from seeing any sort of a final pit stop. They had gone, 50, 55, 56, 57 laps on that current stint, or in that first stint. So we got trouble off of turn 2, and that's Caleb Sisk, and he's going to be hit by Alfie Sharon Jr. Michael Bennett also involved. That's a huge accident for two of our main contenders, and poor Michael Bennett backwards on the back stretch. Caution once again on the speedway. And let's see what we can see here. Got him going through turn 1. Everything in ship shape. That's Chris Gones on the outside. Michael Bennett to the inside. They're going to race down the front straight. Caleb Sisk is right behind him. H&B siding number 64. He's going to come up and not quite clear. He's going to just get barely into the left front of Chris Gones. Nowhere to go for Caleb Sisk. And then he comes back across the track and is tagged by Alfie Sharon Jr. So that is the reason for your caution here. Lap number 89 of 165, and already having been to pit lane for his fast repair is Michael Bennett. Or coming to get his fast repair, rather. See the car pop back into place. So Michael Bennett going to take service, and he will be down and away in the number 64 machine. Meanwhile, these caution laps are really helping out the trio that is leading this event. That's going to be Sean Roberts, Brandon Coleman, Matt Sizzler. We talked about tire wear, Kendall. Laps under caution don't burn the tires, do they?
Yeah, laps under caution do not burn the tires up here, so I mean, it's looking favorable for Sean Roberts and that sort of thing. They're able to stay up towards the front of this field, and I mean, if the cautions keep falling and they come in within their pit window, they can come down and get fresh for Goodyear tires and be up towards the front like they want to be. And I mean, them pitting early, I'm guessing that's what they did, proved to be a very good choice for them as they're controlling this race. So it's going to be very interesting to see if we get any more cautions, if what kind of falls, and maybe if we'll even get some more green flag pit stops here towards the end of this thing.
Absolutely. And it's going to get fast and furious here. We've got 74 laps to go. And Kendall, as it gets toward the end, the racing generally gets a little bit more desperate at these places. think we're still having some audio issues for Kendall Paul, and definitely thank him for joining in. Otherwise, it would have been myself and I this evening. But all thanks to Kendall Paul and the AMA series for loaning him out to us this evening. You can catch them in action Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. That is Cup, then Xfinity, and then their premier series is actually the Truck Series. And so you can catch them over with our friends at Extreme Sim TV. But just a shout out to Kendall for helping us out this evening over here at P1. Sean Roberts leads it from Brandon Coleman in second. The second row is going to be Matt Sisler and Chris Gones, who did not make a pit stop. And we'll kind of have a look at that 41 machine. It doesn't appear to be all that badly dented, if at all. These cars are fairly resilient. Joseph Bennett, Jesse Redding, 5th and 6th. Joshua Moore, Dylan Bryant, 7 and 8. Nicholas Tucker, Thomas Welch round out your top 10.
Green, green, green.
That's the sights and sounds of 26 Xfinity machines as Brandon Coleman, he spun or half spun the entire length of the front straightaway in that number 11 High Rock vodka machine. He's still spinning it out, going through turns 1 and 2, somehow saves the automobile. Brandon Coleman went from second back down, and now he's finally going to get it. Contact with Joshua Moore, and we have a huge mess. Caleb Sisk, Derek Welch, among others involved, and we've got a track blockage coming out of turn number 4. Caution is on the speedway.
Can't believe I am back. Sorry about that, guys. But I just want to say there during that wreck, big props to the whole field. That could have been a parking lot out of turn number 4, but everyone checks up very nicely in orderly fashion, and no damage. This could have been a lot worse.
You know, I've got to give my kudos to Brandon Coleman. He had that car sideways for 3/4 of a lap, drifted it down the front straight. It looked like he was going to save it, and then the tires just way too angry. And finally, he gets tagged all the way back where the wreck originally started. Just kind of an angle issue there, getting off into turn number 3. Contact with the number 18 of Joshua Moore. They go around, and then the track is basically blocked. Moore's going to get into Sisk. They're going to come back up off the bottom. You see Coleman, he's going to hit the water barrels, and now everybody behind them trying to check up and stop. You see Alfie Sharon Jr. there, Paul Durkee, Paul Ferdiani, all those guys. You know, they do a wonderful job of getting their machines all woed up and settled down, because that could have been, you know, if you'd have had a case of ARCA brakes there, that could have been a much bigger mess than it was, and it looks like a mess, but everybody did a pretty good job there.
Oh yeah, everybody did a wonderful job, and it's going to turn out to be very beneficial for all those guys. Of course, they don't got to use a fast repair or anything, so keep their spot on the racetrack, because of course the time of caution, the positions freeze. So hats off to the whole field there for checking up good. I haven't seen that on iRacing for quite some time.
There you go. Now, we do have people splitting the pit strategies now. Lap 97 of 165 complete. We did have Justin Lawson on pit road 8 laps ago. Same for Skylar Herod, Michael Bennett. Caleb Sisk has come and gotten his fast repair. Derek Welch the same. They are Michael Bennett 10th, Sisk 11th, and Welch 12th. Paul Durkee, Zeth Hawley, Scott Milner have all been on pit road 8 laps ago. And then stopping under this yellow, Joseph Bennett, Thomas Welch, Anthony Williams, Brandon Coleman, Paul Ferdiani, Alfie Sharon Jr. All of those cars, Williams and Thomas Welch, 6.4 seconds, 6 seconds on the pit lane. But Ferdiani, Coleman, Alfie Sharon Jr., some longer stops, and that indicates to me they may have taken their final set of Goodyear tires here. Maybe thinking short run, caution, get to the front, and the tires won't be burned up and they'll be able to stay there, Kendall?
It could very well happen. I mean, my main concern here, if you pit now, is can you make it to the end? And I mean, for some of these guys for the back, it might not be a bad idea to go down pit road just to top off the tank, so it's less time on pit road, so you don't got to wait on fuel. If that tends to be the case with how the cards fall later on. I mean, you could possibly save to the end. I feel like it's going to be very hard. That's 65 laps, and I mean, what we were averaging on the just idling on pit road was 61 laps, so you're going to have to save. It's not impossible, but it's going to be very well positive if you get more cautions, but it's going to be very interesting to see how all these strategies shake out.
Yeah, we saw 55 laps on that first long green flag run, and I would say that's probably about the limit of what these guys, can or even want to do. But give a shout out, give a call down to Sean Roberts, Matt Sisler, Chris Gones, Jesse Redding. Those cars were last on pit road 42, 43, and 45 laps ago as we head back to the green flag. About ready to complete lap 100 of 165. Sean Roberts gets into the loud pedal. He's got a back end full of Matt Sisler and Chris Gones. Those are the 2 points leaders. As Keith Jackson would say, right up the tailpipes of leader Sean Roberts. And also, I do have to mention that is race winner Chris Bryant right behind them in the number 8 Superman machine. He's made his way forward. All of those cars are working 44 laps since their last stop. Well, Dylan Bryant, 31 laps. We've got a spinner in the back.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
That is the 13 of Paul Durkee. The Meineke mufflers, and he's going to need some new mufflers, isn't he? Let's see what we've got here for Paul Durkee. He's racing with a 24. That is Zeth Hawley. Looks like Zeth kind of gets it loose, saves it in a little bit of net code, and that'll send Paul Durkee to pit lane for his fast repair. So working caution. Lap 102 of 165. Sean Roberts, Matt Sisler, Chris Gones, still your top 3. Those cars have been out now for 44 laps, although we have to say the majority of them have been under caution, haven't they? And do appreciate the patience. Kendall's internet continues to play up a little bit.
Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry, the internet is just throwing a temper tantrum today.
That's okay. It's been Kendall, of course, is out in the Midwest as opposed to my eastern Midwestness. And sometimes heat waves and power outages and weather can play it. Yeah.
Weather's going through the area, so that always decides to mess with it. Never fails.
So do you guys do cable? You guys do cable. You have Starlink out there. What do you do?
No, it's weird. It's weird. We have fiber optics. We just got fiber optics here, and for some odd reason, when the weather comes in, I mean, it's either the power or the internet that goes out. So it never fails every single time. I mean, also for some reason has to be either a Monday or a Wednesday that it comes in. So it's on a schedule, it seems like, but sometimes we'll get surprised on a Thursday.
It's funny. We've got fiber optics in South Bend, where I live, obviously pretty close to Notre Dame and Chicago and all that. So internet, no problem here. But in our family, the first place that got fiber optic internet wasn't me, and it wasn't my parents, and it wasn't. They all live in southern Indiana in a mid-major city. It wasn't the condo in Pensacola. It was the family farm out in rural Spencer County due to a federal grant to provide internet for some of these rural areas. The farm got the fiber long before the rest of us did, and so that's always been kind of a point of high comedy. Is that the farm had fiber internet before any of the people that lived in the cities did, but. Anyway, definitely know that can play up, and especially weather. It does the same here too, which It shouldn't seem like it does, buried fiber optic cable and being sensitive to weather. I've actually noticed it more during heat waves than anything else, and I don't know if it's like a power spike issue with the servers not getting enough power or whatever it is because everybody's running their air conditioners. But still good to have you, Kendale, and still good to have some company. We are working lap 105 of 165. Sean Roberts and Matt Sisler, your top two, Chris Gones and Dylan Bryant, third and fourth, and they are on a long economy run as the lights go out on the pace car. The front three have been out 49 laps on their current stint. They are most assuredly, though, not hurting for fuel because most of those laps have been under caution. We've only really had 2 or 3 laps of green flag racing, followed by several laps of caution, followed by a restart, and then rinse, lather, repeat since that run started. I would hazard a guess to say that those 3 cars may still have a third of a tank of petrol or more left. Pace car is going to pull it on off. That is the Ford Mustang pace car. Green flag is out. Racing resumes. Sean Roberts will get in the loud pedal, and Chris Gones dives it to the bottom. He's going to take second place off of Matt Sisler. Or he's going to attempt to do it. Gones looking at Sisler for second. Dylan Bryant, an interested third party there in fourth. Justin Lawson rounds out your top 5. Fastest car on the racetrack for the entire night. The fast lap owned by Skylar Harrod. He is 6th. Michael Bennett has worked his way back up to 7th after earlier trouble. Nicholas Tucker is 8th. Jesse Reddy 9th. Nick Biddy will round out your top 10. Meanwhile, Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk, the 2 cars that we kind of talked about earlier, they had dominated the early going 16th and 17th. Sharon has not used his fast repair. Caleb Sisk has. As we watch this battle now for the lead, that is Matt Sisler working on Sean Roberts. Inside Sisler, outside Roberts. And we're going to go on board Chris Gones and see what he sees. That's the best seat in the house, ladies and gentlemen. The battle for the lead, and you're riding in third. And you can kind of see from this angle, fans, the drive that Sean Roberts gets from the outside, and he'll go on ahead and reclaim the lead from Matt Sisler in second. Meanwhile, Dylan Bryant has worked his way back up into this battle, so the front 4 have really kind of broken away. Dylan Bryant does have the most recent stop of this group, although he was in 42 laps ago. 55 laps now for Sisler and Roberts. So even though a lot of those laps are under caution, Kendall Paul, you would anticipate these guys to be coming in really within the next, 10, 15 laps or so?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, all these cautions have kind of expanded that window open just a little bit more and more. And I mean, you got to, you also got to think, they possibly are also thinking, will there be another caution? So they might try to run this thing out just a little bit longer, but the longer you do that, the more time you waste, because you got those fresh tires coming behind you. So it's all about taking and rolling the dice on when you take that fresh Goodyear tires. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all shakes out. It's a nice comfortable lead for those 2 Toyota Supras.
Absolutely. Looking at a nice size dent in the rear end of the 41 machine for Chris Gones as Dylan Bryant looks him over for third. Definitely love the chrome Superman Pepsi car. That's a throwback to much earlier times. Jeff Gordon ran that car in the early to mid 2000s, I believe. That was right around the same time that Pepsi had the.
And a huge move out on turn number 2. The 24 got a little loose and sideways there for a second, got on the apron there. A huge move for him. That's going to drop him back 3, 4, 5 spots.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that. So that's Zeth Hawley in the 24, patriotic red, white, and blue flames from the DuPont car, and he gets down on the apron. He kind of makes slight contact with the 21, and then down to the apron goes Zeth Hawley. He saves it, Not any more than just a little bit of contact with Jesse Redding. But you did see Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk squeak by on the outside. Those cars now run 11th and 12th. Sharon has now gotten past Sisk, and so the two early leaders back to 11th and 12th. They're looking at the battle between Jesse Redding and Derek Welch right in front of them. Shout out to Derek Welch. We're looking to the inside of the 88 of Nicholas Tucker. Jesse Redding just behind them. Got a lot of cars with a little bit of damage, but not many cars with a lot of damage here. Just kind of watching Alfie Sharon Jr. work to the inside of the 21. That is Jesse Redding. And you get the feeling that these leaders, Roberts and Sizzler especially, also Chris Gones, he stopped one lap later, so he's got 62 laps now in his current run. Those guys are kind of living on borrowed time, wouldn't you say? Still the audio issues playing up there for Kendall Paul, and we do apologize for that. Some weather moving through the area where he lives, and so kind of some unreliability on that piece, but working to absolutely get that solved. Meanwhile, Alfie Sharon Jr., he'll work to the inside of the 88 of Nicholas Tucker. That's 8th now for Sharon if he can pull that off and get clear. Derek Welch is going to try to follow him through on the bottom, and holy mackerel, that is big loose for Nicholas Tucker, but he gathers it back in. Sharon Jr. makes the pass. Caleb Sisk, meanwhile, is going to try to get by Jesse Redding on the inside. So the 006 trying to get back to 11th after taking his fast repair. He's going to try to get 2 for 1, and he goes for a spin. No, he saved it. He saved it. Caleb Sisk somehow saves the race car. He went down into turn 1, made contact with Derek Welch. The car got loose on him. Caleb Sisk goes for a lurid slide and somehow manages to save the automobile. And we're going to go see if we can't take a look at Caleb Sisk. What an absolute masterful save that was for Caleb Sisk. He's going to get the car back, but he's going to be in 13th, right behind the 24 of Zeth Hawley. Some issues there on the replay for me. Meanwhile, back up front, Sean Roberts leads it. Matt Sizzler is going to be second, and Dylan Bryant is third. And there's your battle for third, second, third, and fourth. Roberts leads that train. Sizzler second. Bryant is third, and that is your front three. We work lap 125 of 165, 68 laps now on the current run for Roberts and Sizzler. And one would have to think that even though they've had a lot of laps under caution, that they're going to want to make they're going to be needing some fuel here very shortly. Watching Dylan Bryant now, he'll fire it up the inside of the 93 as we go into turn 1. Still watching the battle between Sizzler and Dylan Bryant. That is second and third as we continue to work around the Richmond Raceway. Coming to 128 complete of 165. Sean Roberts has opened up about a 0.6 of a second gap over this second place battle, and that's where we'll keep it. Matt Sizzler and Dylan Bryant. A little bit further back, Chris Gones, he's dropped about 1.15 seconds off of this duo. And then you've got really about a half a second between Gones and Lawson in fifth. Back to Skylar Harrod, who still owns the fast lap of the race. He is sixth. Michael Bennett is seventh. Alfie Sharon Jr. is eighth. All those cars are separated by a pretty fair bit, as is Nicholas Tucker in ninth and Derek Welch in 10th. Caleb Sisk is 11th. Jesse Redding 12th. Zeth Hawley 13th, Joseph Bennett 14th, Nick Biddy rounds out your top 15, Thomas Welch 16th, Joshua Moore 17th, Russell Endicott 18th, Scott Milner 19th, and Paul Ferdiani will round out your top 20. The final car on the lead lap, and give a call out to Anthony Williams. He is on pit lane for what we would assume to be his final stop at lap 130 of 165. So he'll bring the number 5 machine to pit lane for Anthony Williams. We see right side's on, left side's going on, and so that's going to be his final set of tires. He'll go at least 1 lap down, if not 2. Benjamin McKinnon will go to 21st, and there's 2 laps down now for Anthony Williams. Mike Corriveau, 23rd. Paul Durkee, 24th. He is 3 laps in arrears. 7 laps down for the number 11 High Rock Vodka machine of Brandon Coleman, and 37 laps down and shotgun on the field, the number 2 of Ryan Pisacco. Now, I'm going to be interested to see what this number 5 machine does. He's not been one of the fastest cars on the speedway for the balance of the event, but it's going to be a pretty good indication. Last time by, Sean Roberts, 23.107. We'll wait for the tires on the number 5 to get up to temperature, and we know, because of Kendall Paul's expertise, that it takes a lap or 2. As we see Chris Gones, he'll file on the pit lane for his final stop, and so green flag stops now are underway for the leaders. We'll go back to the leaders and check out. We'll go to the leaders and check out Sean Roberts here. As he works through turns number 3 and 4, Roberts going to stay out one more time. As is
Matt. On the front straightaway, looks like the 64 Michael Bennett goes around off of turn number 4, spins that thing off into the grass, and he gets that vehicle back moving up and going. We stay green.
Yep, and let's go back and watch it. Michael Bennett comes off of turn number 4. He had just pitted 1 lap before, and still, that's kind of that same cold tires deal. The good news is, for the rest of the field, he spun it, but when he spun it to the inside. The iRacing system will not trigger a caution if the car is spinning off of the racing surface. So sometimes you'll see that places like Fontana, Michigan, and so forth. You'll see it, cars spin out coming off of turn 2. You'll see it. Meanwhile, we see more cars coming to pit lane. Matt Sizzler has joined that party. Meanwhile, Sean Roberts, kudos to him, 79 laps he's been out on his current run and still has not come to the pit lane. Watching Sean Roberts, and this time he is going to pull the car. He is going to pull that 33 machine. The leader is going to pull it down onto the pit lane, and that's going to leave Dylan Bryant as your leader. So 79 laps was enough for Sean Roberts. He's going to pit. That's going to give the lead over to Dylan Bryant, 67 laps on his current stint. We're going to watch the pit stop here for Sean Roberts, who has led for quite a while now. Basically since that pit stop 80 laps ago, when we had the caution in the pit cycle. Following him in is going to be the number 3 machine of Skylar Harrod, and out goes Sean Roberts. He'll rejoin the action. He's going to be 1 lap down. Meanwhile, we mentioned Anthony Williams did stop. He improved 0.6 of a second a lap with his new pair of boots, and so put the freshies on, go faster. And here comes Sean Roberts, and we'll follow him as he gets up to speed. Meanwhile, back at the front, Dylan Bryant in the number 8 Superman car, the Superman Pepsi machine, is your leader. He's all by his lonesome, 1.6 seconds ahead of Justin Lawson in second. And don't look now, but to the inside of the 20 is Alfie Sharon Jr. in the 78, who has been backwards twice and somehow has managed to work his way back to the top 3. Sharon looking carefully to the inside of Justin Lawson. Neither one of those cars have used their fast repair, although Alfie Sharon Jr. has been involved in a couple of incidents earlier today. Lawson 52 laps on his current run as he gets it sideways coming off of turn 2. And that's going to open up the outside for Alfie Sharon Jr., although he thinks better of it. He'll pull it back down to the inside. Dylan Bryant, meanwhile, you see there on the bottom, he's going to pull it off on the pit lane, and that is going to leave these two. That is Justin Lawson and Alfie Sharon Jr. They are now the battle for the lead side by side. Sharon Jr. works it almost clear, but not quite. And if you can't pull the slide job, the outside line is going to have the momentum down the back straight. Now it looks like Sharon might be clear, and he gets him. Meanwhile, the 33 of Sean Roberts is one lap down, and he would very much like to unlap himself. Justin Lawson moves it up to the high groove. Going to try to deny that, but the new tires are just that much quicker in contact between the 33 and the 20. Thank you very much, says Sean Roberts. I'll have that spot. And to not the lead lap, but one position behind the lead lap goes Sean Roberts. Meanwhile, he is 10th in the running order, but he would very much like to get past Alfie Sharon Jr. now. Alfie Sharon Jr. is 41 laps on his current run. Justin Lawson, 55 laps. Don't know about fuel for Lawson, but I tell you what, Kendale, if you can hear me, Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk last pitted 42 and 41 laps ago, respectively. They are going to be awfully close to being able to make this based upon the number of cautions that we've had.
Yeah, they're gonna be close. I mean, sorry, excuse me. I'm kind of watching Silks right now, and he hasn't really gained on Sharon Jr. that much. The gap earlier was about 3.8. That lead has increased now to 4. Now they flash across the stripe again. It closes down just a little bit. So if they can make it on fuel, it's going to be interesting. Does Silk have enough tire to get back up and claw his way back up to the 78? That's something to be determined as we're getting to the closing laps of this thing. And I mean, I hate to be the broadcaster's curse, but also if you're Silks, you're probably wanting a caution at this point. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want a caution or not. I'll tell you what would drive me nuts, and your Caleb Sisk or Alfie Sharon Jr. You've been at the head of this deal. You were the two fastest cars, and it looked like early on, at least, that it was going to be a straight duel between the two of you to decide who the winner of this race was going to be. And now you're up there based on strategy, fuel strategy, having not pitted. Justin Lawson probably not going to have the steam to make it. He is second, but he's been out 59 laps, and we've had a little bit of a longer green flag run. Don't know if he's got enough petrol in the tank. Same for Derek Welch. He is fourth, but he is going to be working lap number 60 of his current stint. Joshua Moore would be one that you might circle as maybe being able to make it 43 laps on his current run with 16 to go. So for those guys that have been out 45, 44, 46 laps, and we've got trouble on the back. Derek Welch is around, and that's going to be a caution on the speedway. Caution on the speedway for a spin from Derek Welch.
So I'll just put that out there. I'll apologize to Derek Welch there for bringing the broadcaster's curse to him and having him bring out the caution flag. But talk about throwing a wrench into this race. It's going to be interesting to see what all shakes down here.
You know it is, and you've got some guys you got some fast guys that have tires. You've got some fast guys that don't have tires. You've got some guys that maybe wanted to see this caution, and I would probably say that, I'd hazard a guess to say that Sean Roberts is happy to see it. I doubt very much that Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk are. I think that they had planned on going to the end as we see the contact of the inside retaining wall for the number 1 of Derek Welch. He has already made his way back to pit lane, and we are going to see pit stops. Now, Alfie Sharon Jr. is on pit lane, and his car is up in the air, as is Caleb Sisk. So those guys did have tires. At least we think. Sisk has also used his fast repair. Sharon Jr. has not. And so wholesale pit stops here. Sean Roberts leads it. He did not come to pit lane, and we're watching Roberts. He did not come to pit lane there, so he's been out 14 laps on his current set. My read on that is he does not have any tires left. Alfie Sharon Jr., Justin Lawson, and Caleb Sisk, as well as Joshua Moore, and Moore has been around today as well, all four of those cars, second, third, fourth, and fifth, have had an adventurous evening, but they are now in the top 5 and on freshies for the final run to the end. 6th, Thomas Welch. 7th, Joseph Bennett. And 8th, Scott Milner. Quiet night for Milner, but what a great run he's had up to the top 10. He is 8th and on the lead lap and has fresh tires. Paul Ferdiani is 9th, and Chris Gones will round out your top 10. Ferdiani has been out 47 laps on his shoes. Chris Gones, 18 laps on the current run. Matt Sisler, he is 17 laps on his current stint. Skylar Harrod, 15 laps. Dylan Bryant, 13. He's been out 10 laps and still owns the fastest lap of the race, does Skylar Harrod. Dylan Bryant, 10 laps and 13th. Nicholas Tucker is 14th. Jesse Redding, 15th. None of these cars have fresh tires, by the way. Jesse Redding is 15th. Michael Bennett, 16th. Nick Biddy, 17th. Zeth Hawley, 18th. Derek Welch, 19th. He was the spinner and the reason for the caution. Rounding out your top 20 is Russell Endicott, 21st. Anthony Williams, Endicott and Williams 1 lap down. Mike Corvo, 22nd. He, along with Benjamin McKinnon in 23rd, is 2 laps in arrears. Paul Durkee, 24th, 3 laps down. 8 laps down in 25th, Brandon Coleman. Ryan Pasacco, 26th. He has called it quits and retired the vehicle. The number 2 behind the wall for the remainder of the evening. 25 cars remain, 12 laps to go as we get set for what seems to be one more final shootout. Now, Kendale, do you think that Sean Roberts is going to be able to last up here, or are those new tires just going to overhaul him? He's got 13 green flag laps on those things. They are cooled off, though.
It's going to be very interesting. I personally don't think so. You got fresh tires all around you. I think
Green, green, green.
it's all going to be about just getting as much as you can here at this restart.
Now, he did get all he could. He got an amazing jump, and we decided to watch it just from the regular TV view, just to show you what kind of a jump he could get. But Alfie Sharon Jr., he gets the jump, and that's what new tires will do.
Trouble off turn number 2,
All right,
one
man,
car
caution is
sideways
out.
towards the back, trying to get a car number here. He spins all by himself. That's going to be Joseph Bennett around the 00, bringing out yet another caution here on lap 155.
And that's what Sean Roberts wanted to see, is we're going to watch Joseph Bennett take the 00 to the inside, the Prospec Custom Accessories machine, body armor, Menards, Dex Imaging on the side of that car. He goes down into turn number 4, and as we've seen many times, cold tires, restart, gets down to the bottom, and it spins it out down to the inside. It doesn't hit anything, which is the good news for Joseph Bennett. The bad news is now he's got to go to the back. He was in the top 10. Now, that's what Sean Roberts wanted to see, in my estimation. He wants as many of these laps run with him in the lead and under caution as possible, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, 100% sure. 100% sure he wants to see all these cautions. If you can just stay out in the lead when these cautions fall and everything, you just hope that you can hang on. And I mean, this is going to put them in what? We're going to go back green with maybe 6.5 to go. So it's limiting that margin for that 78 to get around Sean Roberts to get the win. He just got to continue doing what he's doing, get those good restarts, defend off your position every little second, because you never know when those beautiful caution lights are going to turn back on.
Absolutely. And just to remind the fans, we are back for the next 8 Mondays in a row. Next week, Chicagoland, same time, same bad channel. That's 8:10 here on P1 Broadcasting. The final race of the regular season is going to be a 105-lapper at Michigan on September 30th. Then we have the playoffs: Charlotte, Atlanta, Iowa, Las Vegas, and Talladega. The final race, the championship race, Championship Monday, will be at Homestead on November 11th. So mark down your calendars, hit that like button, ring the bell to subscribe, and take a look at all the exciting action here from the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. We are under caution, 8 laps to go here. Your leader is Sean Roberts. Alfie Sharon Jr. is second. Caleb Sisk rounds out your top 3, and what a run back to the top of the charts for Sharon and Sisk. They have been to the back, to the front, to the back, to the front. They have both been around on a couple of different occasions, and yet here they are. Justin Lawson is 4th. Joshua Moore will round out your top 5. Then Thomas Welch, Paul Ferdiani, Scott Milner, Chris Goins, and Matt Sisler are your remainder of the top 10. Skylar Harrod 11th, Dylan Bryant 12th, Nicholas Tucker 13th, Michael Bennett 14th, and Nick Biddy is 15th. Zeth Hawley, Joseph Bennett, Russell Endicott, Jesse Redding, and Derek Welch are the remainder of the top 20. All of those cars are on the lead lap, and I would surmise that all of them have a shot to win the race here, given that Richmond can be kind of chaotic, especially when you get into a 5-6 lap shootout at the end. 1 lap down, Anthony Williams. Mike Corvo, 22nd. He is 2 laps down, as is Benjamin McKinnon. Paul Durkee is 3 laps down in 24th. Brandon Coleman, 25th, 8 laps in arrears. Ryan Pasacco has retired the number 2 machine. He will get credit for 26th place. Lights are out on the pace car. Kendall, you want to place a bet here or no?
What are we placing a bet on? Another caution?
I'd say that might be a safe bet. Although, to be fair, these guys have been really good about close racing and not using the bumpers. The cautions here notwithstanding, most of these have been single car spins and guys getting loose. It's not been, as a rule, guys running over each other, and that's the great thing about this series. They really don't do that, and so I'd say there's an even money chance that we go green to the end. But can Sean Roberts in those old tires, 23 laps old, hang on? We're about to find out. Pace car is on pit road, Geico restart zone, and racing is going to resume. Sean Roberts doesn't quite get the jump this time, but he does clear Alfie Sharon Jr. Sharon going to go to the top. Roberts going to be stuck on the bottom. We're going to watch it from the drone cam, folks. Caleb Sisk is now going to go to second.
Trouble in the backfield over turn number 4. It's going to be a parking lot. Multiple cars involved, and it's going to bring out another caution. We might be going into NASCAR overtime for this one. A major incident off of turn number 4.
All right, race fans. Well, you heard it. It was Kendall Paul on the call. A parking lot in turn number 4, and let's go back and see what we can see. That was going to be Chris Goins that was involved. One of the cars involved, at least. And it's going to take... It takes a minute to get back to some of this stuff. All right, so there's car backwards. That's not good. This is gonna start ahead. So that's the 44. That's the 44. Paul Ferdiani. He gets sideways, and it just kind of accordions the whole field. You see Matt Sisler. He gets contact from the number 3 of Skylar Harrod, and then pretty much everything hits the fan behind him. It results in contact for about half a dozen cars. The worst out of that, though, was Chris Goins, and I think he might have been the car that was. I think he might have been the car that made the least amount of contact out of that whole deal, Kendall. So back at the front, we're going to have a natural green-white checker here. Alfie Sharon Jr. leads it. Caleb Sisk is second. Sean Roberts is now third. So, he may still be able to use the old tires to decent effect. He does have freshies all around him. Joshua Moore in fourth. Justin Lawson fifth. Thomas Welch sixth. Scott Milner is now seventh. Paul Ferdiani is eighth. Matt Sisler ninth. And Skylar Harrod will round out your top 10. Milner, Welch, and Lawson all have the fresh tires. Sean Roberts, 27 laps old on his machine. Sisler, 29 laps on his car. Harrod, 27. Dylan Bryan in 11th. He's got 22 laps on his current run. Michael Bennett has 33, and he's got the oldest tires on the speedway, at least among the top 12. Nicholas Tucker, 13th. Nick Biddy has been out for 30 laps. He is 14th. Joseph Bennett, 15th. Derek Welch stopped 8 laps ago. He was on pit lane for 14 seconds. Now, he did have a fast repair, and as we've heard, you do get new tires with a fast repair, or at least it repairs the tires that were on and puts it back at 100%. And so, maybe Derek Welch has something for him. Seth Hawley, he's got 22 laps in his current run. Jesse Redding has freshies, but he is 18th. Russell Endicott 19th. And Chris Gones is going to be 20th. Gones has also stopped and taken his fast repair. But again, 20th for Chris Gones, and that's the point lead. And I feel like we might have cursed Chris Gones too, Kendale, because we talked about him earlier. He had risen to the top, the points leader, very quietly gotten to the top 3. Now he gets turned around and he is back in 20th. The lights are out on the pace car, and racing is getting ready to resume as they come down the back straight. So we're going to have the attempt at the green light checker here. The 78 of Alfie Sharon Jr., the 006 of Caleb Sisk are your 2 leaders. Roberts and Joshua Moore, row 2. Green flag is out. Racing resumes. The 78 of Alfie Sharon Jr. gets the jump, literally and figuratively, on Caleb Sisk. Sisk rolls right back up to his rear bumper, though, as they go through turns 1 and 2. Joshua Moore, that leaves Joshua Moore to fight the 33 of Sean Roberts for 4th, and firmly ensconced in 5th right now, the 20 of Justin Lawson. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, so the next flag will end the race. We're watching Alfie Sharon Jr. in the number 78 work to the bottom. The trackparmedia.net number 78 Chevrolet will work to the bottom of the speedway, turn number 3. He's got Caleb Sisk in close attendance. Joshua Moore has made it around Sean Roberts for 3rd. But the night belongs to Alfie Sharon Jr. He'll win from Caleb Sisk in 2nd and Joshua Moore in 3rd. He also will run the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the race. How about that? We'll watch Alfie Sharon Jr. Do the burnouts as he wins tonight at Richmond. And so your winner tonight, Alfie Sharon Jr., he makes 8 pit stops en route to leading 20 laps and winning tonight's NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Richmond 125. Second, Caleb Sisk, he led 50 laps. He'll be credited with 2nd from starting on the pole. They essentially swapped positions. Those two dominated much of the early event before an untimely caution during a pit cycle. Joshua Moore, he had an eventful day, did Joshua Moore, but he'll come home 3rd. Justin Lawson 4th. And Sean Roberts finishes right where he started after leading 84 laps in 5th. Matt Sizzler runs 6th, Thomas Welch 7th, Skylar Harrod 8th, Michael Bennett 9th, and Scott Milner will round out your top 10. 11th, Dylan Bryant, 12th, Nick Biddy. The 13th position will go to Jesse Redding, 14th, Joseph Bennett, and 15th, quiet night after a strong mid-race for Chris Gones. He'll come home your points leader in 15th. Seth Hawley, 16th, and the number 24. Nicholas Tucker is 17th. Russell Endicott 18th, Anthony Williams 19th. He dropped 12 spots from his 7th place starting position. And right where he started is where he finished Paul Ferdiani in 20th. 21st is going to be Derek Welch, the series director. 22nd, Mike Corvo. 23rd, Benjamin McKinnon. 24th, Paul Durkee. Brandon Coleman, involved in a couple of different accidents, is going to be home 25th. And rounding out your starting field, 26 cars signed in. Ryan Pasacco, retired 75 laps down, or excuse me, 83 laps down. He'll be classified 26 today and shotgun on the race. Let's get our replays queued up here. and we're going to head down and have a look and see which of the podium finishers have decided to join us. Let's go ahead and grab third place Joshua Moore, the number 18. Josh, this is Mark Murphy and Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, so you had kind of an eventful night. I think we saw you backwards or sideways at least once, maybe twice. Got kind of a timely caution and came back toward the front, wound up third. What was the key to getting you back toward the front there?
You're cutting out there a little bit.
And I was going to say, what was the key to getting you back toward the front there, Josh? You had kind of an eventful night.
I'd say I saw we had about 65 laps to go, so I decided I'd come in and pit, and then I'd try to stretch it all the way on fuel, which I was going to be good on fuel, so I was a little disappointed in that caution coming out, but I think I paid more attention to this Eagles-Falcons game than I did to the actual race, and I absolutely hate this track. But we were still able to get a podium for Muhlenberg Custom Homes.
Hey, and that's the name of the game, right? Sometimes even when you don't like the track and maybe not having a good night, you try to walk away with the best result you can. Third place this evening. Kendall Paul, you have anything for the bottom step of the podium here today?
What's that? You keep cutting out a little bit.
That's okay. We've been having some Discord issues this evening, and so I do want to apologize to the fans about that. But I was going to ask if my colleague Kendall Paul had any questions for our third place finisher.
Hey, I heard a little bit of what she said, but great job tonight, Joshua. Very up and down day. I mean, with all those cautions following, what was kind of going through your head on strategy-wise, that sort of thing?
Strategy-wise, I was just trying to stay out as long as I can for that first run. And well, actually, I didn't. I pitted in a little early, and then ended up bringing out that caution. Just got on the gas too early and spun. But with all those cautions coming out, I was just trying to save my stuff and then maybe make it to the end. And then with that, we got a caution with, like I said, it was about 65 laps to go, and I thought fuel window was about I think 55 or something like that. So I thought maybe I could stretch it 10 laps. I would have been good. But with that last couple cautions coming out, I was just hoping to get it. I know I had no speed for Caleb and Alfie up there, so I was just hoping I could maybe squeak out a top 3, and worst case I'd be able to keep my top 5.
Well, there you go. Well, sometimes the best championship runs are made out of getting a result at a place you may not like, or a night that may not have been going so well. So, congratulations on the third place effort, Josh. You have any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to this evening? The floor is yours.
Yeah. First off, I got to thank Muhlenberg Custom Homes. And then I got to thank my teammates at Plus AV. Andy couldn't make it tonight, but I got to thank Paul, Joe, Zeph, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody else. And then I got to thank NTRL for putting on these races. Then last off, I got to thank you for broadcasting this thing.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate you, Josh. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. You keep going fast and having fun, you hear? That is Josh Moore. He is our third place finisher. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get second place Caleb Sisk queued up, and we'll bring him on in. Caleb, this is Mark Murphy in the P1 broadcasting booth, along with my good friend and colleague Kendall Paul. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I tell you what, just like everybody else up front, you had kind of an eventful day, back to the front, to the back, several times. At one point, we'd almost written you off, and here you are, second place. Congratulations on that. Tell us about your day.
Pretty good opening run. I made one error, and Alfie was there to capitalize and pass me on the bottom. We come to pit road the next lap after those 55 laps, and man, it turned into a slugfest throughout the field. So, it's going to happen at a short track. No big deal. It was like you said, it was eventful. We didn't cause any wrecks. I mean, we almost caused one. I almost ran over Derek Welch. I feel bad about that. He saved it. It was a really good save. But man, we got caught up in quite a few. We got turned around going backwards in front of the field. Thought we had cleared that wreck. Got clipped going down the back straightaway. Destroyed the left front. I mean, car was a piece of junk there at the end. We're pretty fortunate to drive back to second. Missed a shift on the restart. Couldn't make it eventful for you guys to watch. I was feeling pretty good about rolling the top side there with Alfie, and I trust Alfie a lot to put the squeeze on him without wrecking either one of us. But didn't quite have it in me tonight. But like you said, it was eventful. Didn't cause any wrecks. We were involved in a few, but that's okay, and we'll get out of here and move on for another week.
Yeah, and sometimes I was just saying that to Josh. Sometimes, it's, as far as championships are concerned, it's anytime you can make something out of nothing or get a result you thought mid-race you might not have had, that's a pretty good night. And so second place for Caleb Sisk. Kendale, do you have anything for the middle step of the podium this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset about P2. I mean, obviously you want to win, but when it's not your week and cards aren't falling your way, just be thankful for what you got and just try to get it to the finish line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do apologize to our color commentator as well. You're exactly right, Caleb. We've been having Discord issues all night, so sometimes we can hear each other, and sometimes it's sometimes not. And we've connected and disconnected and reconnected several times. So I definitely appreciate everybody's patience on that. But do you have friends, family, sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to give the Sisk Speed shout out. The Sisk Speed Shop a shout out. Tough night for the team, but I mean, rebound for a second, an 8th, and a 12th. We'll run the Gen 6s tomorrow night. I'll be up on the spotter stand / pit box / getting to watch, which is a lot of fun. Huge shout out to Skunkworks Graphics. You guys for carrying the broadcast. NTRL, the admins have got a lot to review. I mean, you got to remember every one of those yellows. They got to look at it. We talked about that last week. Man, it's tough. It's a hard job. It's a hard position to be in. They got to make the call. They got to take the time to do it. I have been looking for an additional league to try to run on the weekends, and man, I'm going to tell you, you don't realize how thankful for you are to be somewhere and be a part of something until you find some really, really garbage leagues. So hats off to NTRL for being a good league. Taking care of all of us. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Absolutely. Well, that is Caleb Sisk, second place today here at Richmond. Thank you so much for joining us, Caleb. You keep going fast and having fun. You hear?
Thank you, sir.
You're more than welcome. And that's going to bring us to our winner this evening, Alfie Sharon Jr. Alfie Sharon Jr., Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Oh, hello?
Yeah, Alfie Sharon Jr., this is Mark Murphy in the P1 broadcasting booth with Kendall Paul. You got a copy?
I got you guys. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. We all three of you guys had an eventful night, and yours was no different. Kind of talk us through your race. You and Caleb looked like you were going to walk away, and then an untimely caution fell. You got put in the back, got backward, and then went from there.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but I mean, the first 140 laps were good. Going back to the field, me and Caleb have been racing for, I think, this is our third season in NTRL together. We raced pretty strong. I mean, as you can tell, we don't really give each other that much room, but I mean, that's what makes for great racing with both of us. The last 20 laps, though, weren't the greatest. My headset ended up dying. I had no sound. I was just trying to guess when Sean was going, and it was not fun for the last 20 laps, I can say that.
Well, you did manage to get it done, and great job on that. Kendall Paul, do you have any questions for second place Alfie Sharon Jr. or winner Alfie Sharon Jr.? I'm sorry.
Yeah, congrats on your win here tonight. I mean, we talk about how many cautions fell tonight, and just kind of how up and down day you guys had. I mean, how do you kind of stay in it? How do you mentally stay in it and say, okay, this is all going to work out. I'm going to cycle myself back up to the front, or I'm going to work myself through the field. How does that kind of explain that to the fans?
Well, that pretty much comes down to the teammates that I have in Chris Goins and Jesse Redding. They've been racing with me for a while now, and they know I kind of get in my own head when stuff like that happens. But I mean, they were there for the whole time, just telling me, like, listen, just run the race. Still enough time in the race to get back to the front. I was like, yeah, but I mean, it all comes down to if you have a good group of guys around you. And unfortunately, I have a very good group of guys around me that know how to get me out of my own funk. And, I got to just give hats off to Jesse and Chris for helping me get through that. And, I mean, this is not just a win for me. It's a win for TBM and our team that we got going. And hopefully we can get some more and hopefully battle for the championship when that time comes.
Absolutely. Well, excellent job this evening. Excellent job this evening for Alfie Sharon Jr. Alfie, do you have any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to shout out?
I just got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, all of the NTRL admins, Derek especially, he does a lot. Got to thank my teammates, like I said, Jesse and Chris. And a lot of people obviously know that Zach can't run this league, but I mean, Zach puts in a lot of time and practice with us that helps all of us get better. And, I mean, I wasn't too confident coming into this track, but Zach helped me a lot throughout over the weekend to help me get better here. And I mean, it paid off. So, I mean, this win is definitely for Zach mostly. I wish he would be able to race these, but unfortunately he's too good. So that's never going to happen. And I just want to thank everyone for racing clean, and hopefully we can have a better race next week. I believe we're going to Chicagoland.
Yes, we are indeed. Well, Alfie, we'll see you at Chicagoland. Congratulations on your win tonight. Enjoy it. Keep going fast and having fun, my friend.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Yep, will do. So that's Alfie Sharon Jr., your winner tonight at Richmond. And Kendale, good race. Like to get your final thoughts on the evening.
It was a very good race. I mean, from a fan's perspective on watching this race, you got a taste of a little bit of everything. You got the taste of the strategy, if you like strategy-drawn races. I mean, you saw the split decisions between the field and that sort of thing. And then you also had that mix of crashes and cautions and throwing wrenches into that race and that sort of thing. And I just would like to point out the race winner, Alfie Sharon Jr., I just love that remark about his teammates. You don't very much hear a racing to be a teammate sport. You hear it in NASCAR, oh, you got to have your teammates behind you for the pit stop, your crew chief, and that sort of thing. But actually, the different drivers that are on your team can impact the way you drive and the way you race. I just love that answer because not very many people think of that. The other driver teammates being a big crucial part of it. But overall tonight, it was a good race, and you had a little bit of everything here at Richmond.
Absolutely. And so for me, I'd like to echo Kendall Paul's thoughts. It's always awesome to hear guys recognize their teammates, whether it be in stock cars, Indy cars. This is very much, sim racing is very much a team sport. And, it takes a village sometimes just to get one guy up to a top step. We know that all too well over on the IndyCar side, where, it takes, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys sometimes to get one or two through to the Pro Series that we're about ready to run starting on Thursday. And so always awesome to hear guys, thank their teammates. For me, Mark Murphy at P1, just kind of circling among upcoming broadcasts. Tomorrow night is our signature broadcast. That is the IndyCar Oval Series fixed top split. That'll be from Pocono at 8:15 Eastern Time. On Wednesday, I will be in the booth for the NASR Indy Oval Series as they go to Chicagoland. That will be at 7:50 p.m. Gary Godso is going to have the VRL Truck Series. He's going to be live at 8:50 p.m. Wednesday night. On Sunday, we're going to have the final leg of the Dark Horse 2,000-mile ride. That's going to air beginning at 7 p.m., all right here on P1. So again, hit the like button, ring the bell to subscribe, and take in all of the excellent iRacing action. For me, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul, just like to thank all of our first responders, firefighters, police officers, paramedics, everybody out there, military that keeps us safe. And we'll keep trying to do it better, and we'll see you next week.